Now, just touching on basically, so in Britain we have a term. It's called a firm, right? And a firm is basically a collective, more so to do with organized crime, so to
Organised
speak,
crime,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in your case, your firm was pretty much known for, it's alleged 19 murders, I believe, and multiple like well over 20 shootings, I believe.
Yeah.
And just talking about the influence that the type of influence your firm actually had, when you was actually running the streets. If we could just talk about that, the notoriety and you lot being known, sort of thing.
Do you know what? It's kind of, it's hard for me to quantify it, right? But I don't think there was anything that went on in Northwest London, South London, all of London, like East London was something we never really ventured to be active.
Right.
But West London, North London, South London, that was very, 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 very fucking active. Yeah. And there wasn't a major firm. It wasn't a major firm we didn't come up against or work with. And that's just being honest. Like, and it wasn't, and even in prison, out of prison, do you know what I'm saying to you, like, it was just different. It was just different. It was, like, I'll give you an example, right? So I used to have, like, so everyone gets drugs in prison, right? And everyone gets bits and pieces in prison. But everyone's got angles and avenues to do stuff, right? But my unique sort of product I had was a barrister, right? So my barrister used to make up legal bundles, yeah?
So this is like a lawyer, a barrister.
A barrister, a
Yeah,
lawyer,
sure,
a lawyer,
sure.
right? So they used to make up legal packages of paperwork with compartments. Like my mates used to make the compartments in the paper. But once they give you a box of paperwork to a solicitor, to a prison officer, the prison officer can't search that paperwork because it's legal
By
documents.
law, sure.
Yeah, they can't do it. And at this time of the year, they never had X-ray machines in prison.
Right.
So you could get your legal documents. And I used to get 9 ounces of cannabis every week. Yeah. Every 2 weeks, say. Every 2 weeks to a month, I'd get 9 ounces for myself, right? And I'd get an ounce of heroin and an ounce of crack cocaine just for myself in prison, right? And then I'd get another ounce of crack and another ounce of heroin and another three bars. So just to sell.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And that would be me. So this would be my party bag with the E's, the crack and the heroin and a bit of puff. That's my personal stuff. And then the stuff to me to make for the family was on the other hand. And I just got through every sentence, yeah, just selling drugs.
Right.
And just being naughty. That's why I never got anything. Never got no D cats, no C cats.
That's pretty crazy. So basically your lawyer is basically, instead of giving you the paperwork, there's drugs in the package that he's giving you and it's supposed to be your
drugs, phones, everything.
Crazy.
Drugs, phones, everything. And when you go back, we're going to get all my prison history anyway.
Sure.
But all the prison history always states that I was running the drug culture of that prison and I got moved out of jail for running the drug culture. And there's nothing I'm proud of now, but it was just my way of currency, it was my way of existing, it was my way of surviving, it was my way of belonging.
Right. Definitely. And yeah, just to touch on prison, I guess. So you've got all these drugs, so you're practically flooding the jails with all this.
The last officer that got arrested was a guy called Martin Nelson.
To do with you, basically.
Well, yeah, he got arrested for a kilo of cannabis, an ounce of heroin, an ounce of crack, an ounce of MDMA, 10 litres of vodka, and 6 mobile phones.
Fucking hell.
And apparently he was bringing that in every month.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And he said, I threatened him, and I threatened him, I showed him photos of his family, but then I paid him £1,500 on top to bring all the gear in.
Wally. So what he basically told, like, he implicated you in the whole thing.
Yeah, but they couldn't nick me because they never had no evidence.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And there was evidence on the wing that I'd actually threatened this officer a couple of months earlier and he was not allowed on my landing and there was a bit of conflict between me and him. So his story wasn't believed.
Right.
But they made... I'll tell you the story.
Go for it.
So I was trying to find ways, right, to hide drugs, right? on our wing.
Right.
Right. This is ingenious, and it really is an ingenious.
Go for it. Go
it
for
is
it.
sick. I'm
I'm
telling
all
you,
ears.
it was the best move that anyone in prison had ever made. Right. And this is a fact. So, 2004, 2005, 2006 in Swellside prison. Right. So in these dispersal jails and the high, like Cat A jails and blah blah blah, all these violent jails, like, you're allowed to cook. So they go out and they buy you meat. You got a meat order and a food order and a veg order every week, right?
Right.
So they go out, but you put all your gear in the freezer, right? So everyone shares freezers on the wing.
And the gear is the drugs for our overseas viewers. Yeah.
Pardon?
The gear is the drugs, basically.
No. That's the chicken. Chickens,
the chicken.
lambs and legs, leg of lamb, and all. So you buy your meat gear and all that from the canteen, right? So basically, someone keeps nicking chickens and bits of meat out of the freezers, right?
Right.
So what happened one day, I've come up with a little plan. So I've said to a couple of the kids, a couple of youngsters, I said, look, do you know what? I reckon we could get these screws on board here, you know. I said, what? I said, well, we got to create a job for the freezers. They said, what? I said, well, look, next time someone nicks something out the freezer, yeah, we got to just stab someone up. Right, and then we'll take it to the governor. He said, all right, sweet. So basically what happened is, wait for the next coup, set someone up a little bit. Someone's nicked a chicken. So then he's been stabbed up. Right, so when he's been stabbed up, there's a scream up, the wing's been locked down, right? So his wing's locked down now. So I'm always been known to the screws for stopping ag because I like parties.
Right.
So when I'm in prison, I like to party.
Right.
I like to brew ooch. I like to take ease and I like to get out of my nut. That's just my prison head, right? So when I'm in prison, I don't want ag with the screws on the wing. I want peace on the wing so we can have our parties. Do you know what I mean? If we're in prison, what the fuck are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? So I always made sure I could get my gear and have my parties. And anyone that messed that up for me and my people was a fucking problem. So what I've done, I called the PO and I said, look, this geezer's been stabbed up now, yeah? So I said to the PO, I said, listen, I've got a proposal for you.
Right.
He said, what's that? I said, well, you know I'm all right for money, don't you? He said, yeah, I know you're all right for money, over. I said, well, I'm going to propose a job for you. He said, what's that? I said, a freezer rep. I said, I'll tell you how it works. We put a padlock on the freezer and everyone's got an ID card, right? So anyone comes for any gear out of the fridge, yeah, they've got to come to me, yeah, I open the freezer, get their ID, get their name, I'll get their bag out with their meat in it, and they can take whatever meat out of their bag with the ID in it. I said, if anyone loses any meat or chicken or whatever, yeah, I'll have to reimburse it. So he said, put that in the proposal so I can give it to the governor. So put it in the proposal, give it to the governor. The governor's green lighted it, right? So the governor's giving me the green light now, yeah? So I'm now the freezer rep. So that was all got set up. So then, oh, lovely. So I thought, well, if anything gets caught in that freezer, it's down to me, innit?
Sure.
It's down to me. So what do I need? I need a freezer representative number 2, right? Why? Why do you need a representative number 2? What about, because legally, you've got to go to the gym, right? Sociably, you've got to go on your visits. So my argument was, well, if I'm on a visit or in the gym, who's going to open the freezer?
Sure. Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
Good
but
point.
not a problem. So then we've gone on, me and my pal have gone on as freezer rep 1, freezer rep 2. So then what I've done, I've said, Joff, do me a favour, mate, get Louisa to book a visit every week, the same as me.
Right.
He's on all right, sweet. So now we've booked visits at the same time. So I said, we need a threat number 3. We need a reserve. So now we're getting other people on the jobs.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So that's what I used to do. I used to create jobs on the wing. It was mad.
Right.
Like I was the pool table cleaner. I mean, I said, look, they made me do this industrial cleaning course, right? For health and safety, right? So I'm that's it. Once I've done this course, a BICS course it was,
Right.
BICS course, BIC course. So when I've done this course, I'm saying to the screws on the wing, I said, I ain't being funny, yeah? You know these handles on the phone needs to be cleaned every day. Do you know how much bacteria's on them hands? Do you know how safeguard? You know how, this ain't good, mate. All these door handles, this needs to be white, mate. How come people not doing this? That's a fucking liberty. We need to have an employee, mate.
Right.
So I'm making jobs up on the wing. That's what I was good at.
Definitely.
Yeah. That was prison. And that was it. Just full front, making money, selling drugs, partying every weekend. And that was what prison was all about for me.
Crazy.
It weren't about rehabilitating. It was just about getting through my days and getting out as quick as I can with as much money as I can.
Crazy. Insane. I mean, you know, you're definitely someone, I guess, you know, you think differently, basically. Outside of the box is not the term really.
I mean, we was inside the criminal box. So people want to be criminals, but they don't want to accept the consequences. Right? Every time I went to prison, I was ready for that sentence. I was ready with £250 a week to £1,000 a week wages for my missus before I went to prison.
Crazy.
And if I knew I was going to get a 5, then she had to have 5 years worth of money sitting there. Otherwise, I'm not going to work.
Crazy.
I mean, and none of my girlfriends can ever say they never got money when I was in prison. That I never paid for everything in prison. That my kids never got their birthday money, Christmas money. They never went on holidays. All my kids had their holidays, their clothes, their food, their everything. Never went without a fucking thing when I was in prison. Do you know what I mean? And
Right.
that was my mistake. Because I come from poverty, yeah, I believed that making sure my children had all the materials acquisitions that I never had made me a good dad, whether I'm in prison or not. So because they were still going on holiday, they were getting all the bits, and I was in jail, I was loving it in jail, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But they wanted me, and I didn't realise that until fucking a couple of years ago.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And now we're going through the building bridges through the trauma I've created, through the life choices I've made, you know.
Right.
And these are also impactful points I like to demonstrate and make people aware of, because it's not just the personal damage you're going to be traumatised with.
Right.
It's dealing with the damage of the kids you traumatise, being your own or your nieces and nephews that follow your footsteps.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?